Hey, welcome back to the Owner Operator Podcast. It's your host, Austin Gray. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how bad do you want it? Do you actually want to start a business? I get so many people who reach out to me and say, hey man, what do I need to do? I'm ready to start a business in my own local service market. I'll tell you what, if you're not willing to wake up at 4 a.m. consistently and get to work, you probably don't want to start a business. So we're going to talk about the realities of the behind the scenes of starting a small business. This morning I woke up at 3:30 a.m. I was wired, ready to go. My mind runs 1,000,000 miles an hour. I need an outlet for this stuff. This is why I'm doing the podcast. It's wintertime. Our busy season is slowing down. We've got one more tree job that I'm wrapping up right now. But the realities of running a small business is that it doesn't matter if you're in busy season or off season. There's always something that you could be doing. I'll tell you what, it's been interesting. Over the past 2 weeks around here, people know that my busy season is slowing down. And so they're saying, what do you do? What are you going to do for the winter? And it's like, man, we are literally year 1.5 into the business. So I've only had like 10 operating months under my belt. What in your right mind thinks that you can take the foot off the gas at 10 operating months? Yes, my busy season is slowing down, but look, I've got a list right here. I'm recording the podcast first things, 3:50 a.m. I should be done by 4 a.m. here. And then I'm going to jump in on BCL, Bear Claw Land Services financials. Like, I have to review all of our financials and make sure everything is in order so that our taxes and our P&Ls are showing everything correctly. I've got a meeting set up this Friday with another very successful small business owner, owns 3 businesses in the trades. He's got a painting company, a drywall company, and a remodeling company. I'm pretty sure the painting company is about $12 million a year in revenue. The drywall company is about 8, and the remodeling company is about 7 from our last conversation. So the guy knows what he's doing. And I texted him the other day and I said, hey, can I pay you for year-end consulting here? I want somebody who knows what they're doing, who's been in this game a long time, to go through the financials, to look at things, and to say, maybe this looks a little bit out of line. Like, I want somebody to ask me questions on different line items. Hey, why were you spending money here? Talk to me about that subcontractor line item. Why was that so expensive? Like, all these little questions that need to be understood first and foremost from your financials. And then we're going to go take a strategy, or we're going to go put a strategy together for the 2024 season. All that takes time, and you cannot take your foot off the gas in this game of small business. If you do, your competitors are going to get ahead of you. I'm telling you right now, when I started a small business, my mindset was that I'm committing to delivering 5-star service, and I will not be outworked by any of my competition. I will not be outworked. Same goes with the podcast. It's a very similar mindset. And I know I keep coming back to this, but it's how bad do you want it? Are you willing to wake up earlier than your competition and just get to work? That's what it takes. It's like, you don't need any special morning routine. Like, stop worrying about all that bull crap. Like, it's a bunch of BS. You don't need to jump. You don't need to get in a cold shower. You don't need to go work out. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to do any of this stuff. If you want to start a small business, stop worrying about all that other crap and just start the small business and start working on the small business. Now, I've said it a couple times on Twitter right now. Like, I think the baby boomers were really good at this. And there's a big push on the whole SMB Twitter community right now of like people buying baby boomers out. But the only reason those baby boomers have successful business is because they did this. They woke up, they put their boots on, and they showed up and went to work and solved problems every single day. Okay? Most of them weren't good about taking a day off. All right. Now that's something that's very important to me because I think our generation, millennials, Gen Z, like we care more about this. A lot of these people want this work-life balance. So if you want work-life balance, keep your remote tech job, because you got to fight hard to keep it in this small business game. All right. But a balance and focusing on family is something that is very important to me. But here's what you don't want to hear. You're going to have to make sacrifices. I had zero social life over the last 18 months. I built my house and I built a business. And my wife and I just had an agreement. It's like, if we want to build a house in the mountains and if we want to be able to pay for it, I need to start a very successful business. And that's going to take sacrifice. So you can go ahead and RSVP me no to any social function on the weekend. And that's fine with me, because I knew that putting in this work now is going to end up paying off in the long run. I'm 32 years old. I've already coined my 30s as my grind years. Okay, my 20s, I consumed a lot of information. I tried a lot of different things. Okay, maybe some of you who are listening to this are in your 20s and you're trying to start a remote tech business. You're trying to start a SaaS business. You're trying to go do the e-commerce thing. If that's you, that's fine. But just know your odds of success are way lower than if you start a local service-based business. Okay, the bar is set so low right now in local service that you can apply everything that you know, because the reality is you're probably a very digitally savvy person. You probably understand how to throw together a basic website. If I had to guess, you understand how to start a social media account. You understand how to post to social media. Guess what? All your baby boomer competition, they don't give a crap about that. They don't. And that is why there is an opportunity, okay? They may have the majority of market share, but if they're not willing to invest in digital right now, then someone like you has an opportunity to come in and start taking market share over the next decade. That person is at retirement age. So they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to sell that business or they're just going to shut the business down. I talked about that in the first episode. And that presents itself an opportunity for someone like you to go start a local service business. But it takes work. This is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion podcast. And I'm going to talk about some things you don't want to hear about small business ownership. You are going to have to sacrifice things. That's it. All right. This last week, I hit 5 workouts. It's the first time in 18 months I've done 5 workouts in 1 week. I grew up working out. I grew up playing sports. I grew up training. It's in my blood. I have to go be physical. But guess what? I was out in the field all summer long. We were ripping trees, throwing trees around, running heavy equipment, throwing chains around, all that stuff. You're moving, you're active whenever you're in a service business. If you're cleaning windows, you're going to be moving and you're going to be active. And guess what? You're probably going to have to make a sacrifice on your health, because on any given day, unless you're David Goggins, all right, which most of you aren't, I'm definitely not. In any given day, you have a set amount of resources to work with. That's why when I wake up at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, I jump right into the most important thing that I need to get done. This is why I'm recording the podcast before 4 a.m. right now, because I've got the most mental energy. This is the topic I woke up thinking about. It's like you either want it or you don't. And it's very simple. You either want it or you don't. So next time you say like, oh, you like fall into this like Twitter scrolling of like, oh, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a holdco. We're going to start like 18 businesses. Like there's this huge trend right now where like, for whatever reason, millennial white males think that owning 10,000 businesses would be cool. I can tell you how much work goes into owning one business. I don't want to own 10,000 businesses. I don't want to own 9 businesses. I mean, some of you people are out there doing it. It's like, pick a business, start a business, invest your time into it, and get after it. Apply yourself every single day, and then all of a sudden good things start to happen. But it's not all glitz and glamour. Like, it takes work. So if you're going to start a business, if you say that you want to start a business, ask yourself that. Just stop. Next time you say, "Oh, I'm going to start this business," or "I'm going to buy this business." Do you want to wake up at 3:30 a.m. on the consistent? I mean, the reality is, if you're driving the ship from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're going to have people who are relying on you. You're going to have people who are calling you all the time. You're going to have to be willing to answer your phone. You're going to have to be willing to be pushed by other people. Your customers are going to push on you. When we did that federal job, I've never had someone since playing football. So in the last 13 years, I have not had someone push on me as hard as the superintendent pushed on us at the federal job. But I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. But I just knew that I wasn't going to be sitting in here getting any of the working on the business type stuff done. I was out in the field every single day for several months while we were on that federal project, just getting driven by the superintendent. He's an old 72-year-old ex-logger out of Washington. Worked for Kiewit, superintendent of the year on big government jobs. And he pushed us. But every single day I was working in the business. And look, it's just showing up and being reactive. But if you want to get anything done on the business, you got to wake up early. Like right now, I've got between 4 and 7 a.m. when my daughter wakes up. So I've got 3 hours that I can work right now on the business, on these things like dive into those financials. Nobody else is going to do that in the early days. Like, everybody thinks, oh, you can hire, you can delegate all this stuff. No. You have to drive the ship. That's why I'm passionate about this owner-operator brand. Like, if you can put on your owner-operator hat, you can get stuff done. You can hire and you can delegate in certain areas, but there are certain portions of the business that you're just simply not going to be able to do. Okay? And those of you who want to sit behind and play armchair quarterback, like if you have this idea of business ownership that you're gonna buy a business or start a business and tell everybody else what to do, it's just simply not the case. And I just don't think it's a great way to do things anyway. People want to come work for someone who cares about what they do. People want to come work for someone who takes pride in what they do. So I'm gonna jump off this soapbox, but my question for you is, do you really want it? Next time you say, do you want to start a business? Next time you say, I want to start a business, stop and ask yourself, do you really want it? Do you really want to go the 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. grind before your normal workday starts? That's my question for you. Thanks for joining on this episode. That was a rant. But let me know if you guys like these episodes. Reach out to me on Twitter at @theownerop and let me know what other topics that you'd like me to discuss. Once again, my name is Austin Gray. Thanks for joining and listening in on this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, work hard, do your best, never settle for less, and good things will come. Thanks.